Antri Skal says not again. Antri Skal says Walmart Verity. Antri Skal says way he disappeared. Antri Skal says please guys if you hear a high-pitched voice. Antri Skal says don't care about it. Antri Skal says I sound like mice.
Hey!
Antri Skal says what do you want?
Shut up! I'm gonna do a water bucket
Antri
climb.
Skal says I almost died.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Wait, what? Stream
Antri Skal says underscore. Antri Skal says what? Antri Skal says IWJH, IUWD. Antri Skal says what?
Where is the stalker?
Antri Skal says he touched me and left. Antri Skal says LOL.
Hi!
Antri Skal says look out.
It won't be
Antri Skal says IT1TB soft.
It's not gonna be so.
Hello, I'm Verity, your personal helper friend. Ask me anything. I know everything.
What was that? I didn't install the Verity mod.
Antri Skal says UM. Antri Skal says the guy I shot with an orbital rail gun.
Oh,
Antri Skal
I get
says
it.
why are you eating or licking your feet?
Shh.
Antri Skal says WDYM.
Oh.
Antri Skal says why were you floating?
Can you?
Antri Skal says no cause you cannot see my v-shit.
He closed the door on me.
Antri Skal says and I'm not talking on recording.
I'm gonna force you to. I'm gonna force you to laugh. Actually, let me tickle you. Come here. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna touch you. Wait, no! Why did you grab a shotgun? Oh my god, he's tickling my balls up.
Antri Skal says IT was a cube. Antri Skal says and I am not even at UR. Antri Skal says under.
Why did I get teleported? You did this. Stop diddling me. Oh.
Antri Skal says I didn't.
You stupid flag rate code. I don't know what to call you. Merchandise master code.
Antri Skal says Gongo.
Baby oil. I don't know what to say. Why are you floating?
Antri Skal says /shoot beans 889. Antri Skal says bro got shot. Antri Skal says highway is Walmart Verity here.
You. Shit.
Antri Skal says hello. Entry Scal says get in.
That's just little things, don't mind.
Entry Scal says Gabco.
Why did you?
Entry Scal says I am not gonna die.
Oh. That was. Bro, 5 seconds ago. She's gonna die.
Entry Scal says XD.
She didn't leave. Short leave the beach.
Entry Scal says dash. Entry Scal says Black Flash.
Oh shit, she's gonna milk me. Yeah.
Entry Scal says I did 16 DMG to you.
Folk Valley.
Entry
want to
Scal
sleep
says
in
oh
the-
freakity.
Oppa Gangnam Style. I think someone shared that. But it was only like a millisecond of your voice. I never way I said that out loud. Oh my god. Bro, your brother's soul came on my brain.
Entry Scal says epic name saying the N-word in recording. Entry Scal says of cat. Entry Scal says in your bed. Entry Scal says WDYM bed.
WD gas.
Entry Scal says gaswater. Entry Scal says Huwo. Entry Scal says why do you look? Entry Scal says like that. Entry Scal says. Entry Scal says bro. Antri Scal says I have trauma from Wonderland.
Really? Really?
Antri Scal says Antri Scal says maybe.
The cow milk out of me.
Antri Scal says I was gonna say I'm not a Yandere.
You are.
Antri Scal says what?
No.
Antri Scal says I'm not a Yandere. Antri Scal says right?
Come over here.
Antri Scal says right?
Look over there. It's little Timmy.
Antri Scal says get away BZOI.
Oh wait, that's my girlfriend.
Antri Scal says I'm not a Yandere 3.
Yandere 3.
Antri Scal says kitty face. Antri Scal says VC.
VC. Stop. Wait,
Antri Scal says 3.
Where did little Timmy go?
Antri Scal says he thought I was a Yandere prob.
But you are. Oh boy, why you farting?
Antri Scal says I'm not a Yandere, right?
Oh my god, she's moving on the floor. The carpet is now brown. Thanks.
Antri
Thank you
Scal
very
says
much.
stop lying.
Now I won't be able to step in your house ever again.
Antri Scal says
You
it would be
little
heard.
under 5-year-old child pooper will soon get your milks. Stop, Yandere! Thank you.
Antri Scal says I'm a Tsundere prob. Antri Scal says if I understanded what it means correctly. Antri Scal says XD.
XD, cheaty face, dirty face. Oh, Andrea, you saw that, right?
Antri Scal says yeah.
Well, Verity, today I'm gonna lick you.
Antri Scal
Wait,
says I'm not schizophrenic.
Hello, I'm Verity, your personal helper friend. Ask me anything. I know everything.
Antri Scal says 3.
Why the villager greeting me?
Hello, I'm Verity, your personal helper friend. Ask me anything. I know everything.
Antri Scal says F2 in essential.